guys. This is a lot of information we're going to cover today. You know, don't be too hard on yourself if you're not processing everything immediately. I didn't process all of these things immediately. These are things that I've learned over years from being in business. And but I do want y'all to go out and be great, and so make sure you take good notes so you can go back to your notes and apply these. This is all about getting yourself in front of people who want to buy your products and who want to buy your services, okay? All right, y'all. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to Targeting 101. We are covering online and offline basics today. Hey, y'all, hey. If you do not know, I'm Ms. Ashley Ann. I'm going to be your trainer, a.k.a. your facilitator for today. So Targeting 101. The first thing we need to know is who I am talking with. Who am I talking with? Who am I talking to? Okay? Who am I talking to? Who is you talking to? Do y'all know? It's cool if you don't know. We're about to find out. So the basics of targeting. Let's start at the beginning. This is demographics, you guys. Demographics are statistical data relating to the population and particular groups within it, okay? That's the actual definition of demographics, okay? Statistical data relating to the population and particular groups within it, okay? So the first piece of demographical information we need to keep up with is age, you guys. A lot of people don't really know the age of their clients and customers. A lot of times I ask people, I go, well, what's your age group? And y'all know the first thing that most people say to me, they go, oh, it's everybody. My product is for everybody. The devil is a lie. Your product is not for everybody. Now, can everybody use the product? Probably so, right? So in my case, we'll talk about weddings and events. Do most people in life get married? Yes. Does everybody on the planet Earth know someone who is married? Yes. But does that mean that everyone wants to have some amazing, over-the-top, flower everywhere, people hanging out of the ceiling, lounge furniture, alcohol flowing, 10,000 tons of food, wedding? No. Does everyone want to have that type of birthday? No. Everybody on the planet Earth has a birthday, y'all, but everybody doesn't want to have a birthday party to the level of the events that we design for our clients. So, no, my product is not for everyone, right? Your product is not for everyone. And one of the things you want to start to figure out is age. So for me, it was important to know how old my typical clients were. For me, most of the time, my girls are in between the ages of 28 and 35. Now, does that mean that people over the age of 35 don't get married? Nope, that's not what that means at all. Does it mean that people under the age of 28 don't get married? Nope, that's not what that means at all. But however, most of the people who can even afford my product or service, by the time you're 28, you're pretty established in your career on your job path, and you know what you want to do, and you saved up something by then, right? Or you're making enough money to be able to cover the cost of extravagant birthdays or anniversaries or weddings or those sorts of types of things, all right? Also, a lot of people by the time they're 35, by the time they're past 35, so by the time they're 36, they've already found whoever they want to be married to, or they possibly are working on their second or third marriage if you're in the United States. So a lot of people, they're willing to go all the way out for the first one, but when it's time for their second marriage, they just want to run away to an island, or they like to go to Vegas, or, a lot of people just don't want to put that type of cash into it the second time around, right? So technically, yes, everyone has a birthday and everyone has a wedding. However, in my industry, most of these people, when it comes to weddings, the age is 28 to 35. That's the magic number for me, and 96% of my clients fall into that age range. So once I realized that, I stopped running ads, right? Because when you set up an ad on Facebook or Instagram, it makes your audience anybody from 13 to 65. Why am I running ads to people that are that young, and why am I running ads to people that are on the older side, which 36 is not old, but it's older for my, for this particular line, for this particular product, because a lot of them are on their second marriages or they've already been married. Typically when I get a client who's over the age of 36, they're birthday clients for me or they're anniversary clients. So if I start wanting to promote 10-year anniversary packages, or if I start wanting to promote 50th birthday party packages, right, or your dirty 30, then that's a different age group and a different segment. And so if I'm going to promote 10-year anniversary parties, I'm going to target that to people who are in between the ages of 36 and 50, because that's when a lot of them are hitting 10 years, right? So really start to think about how old your clients are, because it makes a big difference when you're actually advertising. It makes a big difference when you're actually trying to figure out who to get in front of and who you want to connect with and who you want to talk to, okay? Next big basic of targeting is going to get into sex whenever we're looking in the category of demographics, male or female. Who is it who's buying your stuff? There are definitely some products and services on the planet that are gender neutral, but big, huge companies figured this out a long time ago, y'all. Why do you think when you go down the aisle in the grocery store where they keep the razor blades and where they keep the shaving gel and where they keep the deodorants, do you notice that there's different deodorants for men and different deodorants for women? Even with the razor blades, it could be a razor that has the same amount of blades in it. It could have the same curve, but they're going to make one pink and they're going to make one seafoam green, right? Because the green one is for the guy and the pink one is for the lady. It matters. People respond differently to things if they feel like they're catered or if they're made for them. So even if you have a product that is a gender-neutral product, it would behoove you to run different types of ads to those different subsects of the population, because they're going to respond differently, okay? So if it's male or female, it matters. With me, when it comes to weddings and birthdays and events, 97% of my clientele are women. Most of my male clients come from corporate events, or if I get a guy client on the social side, it's normally because he's trying to throw a King Sierra or Sweet 16 for his daughter, or he's trying to pull off a surprise anniversary party or birthday party for his wife. Very rarely do I get a guy that says, I'm having this event for myself, okay? Geographical location. Where do your people live that buy your products and services? Are you a person who has international clients because you sell digital products, so that means they can go anywhere thanks to the internet? Are you a person who has an actual restaurant, and so you need foot traffic? So if you have a restaurant, and you are in Bisbang, well, you don't want somebody, you're not going to run an ad, right, to somebody in New York unless that person is traveling to Bisbang in the next 2 weeks, right? Then you may want to run an ad to them about your restaurant. But outside of that, if they're not traveling to Bisbang, why are we running an ad to them, right? And then better yet, why am I running an ad to people who live 100 miles outside of Bisbang, right, or 100 miles around Bisbang? I only want to run this ad for my restaurant, maybe the people who live anywhere from 0 to 15 miles around the restaurant, so that they actually can come in and eat with me and chat with me and check us out, right? Then income is the next under demographics. A lot of people like to skate around this. Y'all, we're not going to skate and skirt around the income. You know what people need to make to be able to purchase your products and services, and you should know. They're just some basic things that just correlate with other products and services and expendable income and what people will spend their expendable income on. So, for instance, a couple who makes, $75,000 a year and they have 2 or 3 children, they're going to be spending that $75,000 a year completely, totally different than someone who is 32 years old, makes $75,000 a year, and they are single with no children. Right? So let's just use the example of travel. Let's say it's a vacation. More than likely, the couple who has the $75,000 a year with the 3 children, when they're traveling, they're probably looking at cruises. They're looking at great flash deals. They're looking at things that are all-inclusive, and they are not looking to spend more than $500 or $600 per person, because in order for their family to take that trip, it's going to cost them anywhere from, $3,000 to $5,000 by the time we put in the travel, the airfare, the hotel accommodations, the food, whatever it is they have to do. Versus the single person who's 32 years old with $75,000 a year and no kids and no husband, when they're looking to travel, it's just not that big of a deal to them. Even if they get a good deal, they're willing to spend $1,200 or $1,300 because there's only one person. So maybe at max they may be spending $2,500 for their vacation. And this is why you see a lot of these people going on vacation 10, 12 times a year. Once a month they're off traveling to somewhere else because they have more expendable income. They don't have to worry about a college fund. They don't have to worry about sports. They don't have to worry about braces for the kids. They don't have to worry, right? They don't have to worry about the bake sales and the PTA, and they don't have all of these other expenses that come. They don't have to worry about AAU football or basketball and traveling to the different tournaments and all of that. They just don't have to worry about those things because they don't have anyone to worry about. So your income, age, geographical area, geographical location, and then this gets into relationship status. It changes a lot about how people spend money, right? Even with your relationship status, you guys, when you're single, you don't answer to anybody. You spend your money on whatever you want to spend your money on. And you got to think the same way about your clients and your customers. So if you're marketing a campaign to a single person versus a married person, it's going to be two different total trains of thought in the different content, the imagery, the wording that you use behind it. It's all totally different because when you are single, you do what you want to. You don't have to ask. You don't have to say, hey, you don't have to go discuss with your spouse. Say, hey, there's this course I want to take with this girl named Ashley Ann that I follow on Periscope, and it's going to cost me $2,500 to go through this program. You don't have to have a discussion in a meeting and say, what are we doing about this? Where are we getting the money from? Where are we sacrificing on so that I can go through this course or program, right? Versus a single person who's by themselves, if they want to do it, they just do it. They say, do I want to spend the money on this? Yeah, I think I do, and I'll spend it, right? So two totally different mind frames. Even when I'm having calls with someone and they tell me they need to speak with their spouse about it, I typically ask them, can we set up a meeting with their spouse so I can talk to both of them and the other partner can ask me whatever questions that they need to, because it's always easier that way instead of me trying to go at them as an individual, because finances for dedicated couples who are happy do not work the same way that they work for single people, and then finances for people with children do not work the same way that they work for people who don't have children. So this is why it's so important, y'all, to understand this basic demographical information about your audience, okay? Then we get into educational background, okay? So everybody knows, everybody knows, and there's tons of research to show this. People who typically have some amount of college, whether they completed the degree or not, they seem to base things they seem to have, their value perception seems to revolve more around quality, right? And they seem to have more of the value perception of what am I getting whenever I invest in this? What is it going to make me back? What is it going to help me do? What benefit is it going to give me? Is it going to save me time? Is it going to give me peace of mind? They seem to think more of those frames. And then you'll notice a lot of products that are based for people who maybe, and I'm not saying that people that don't have degrees don't have these capabilities or think this way. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just telling y'all there's research that proves this and shows this. Then a lot of people who have not gone to college at all, a lot of those consumers seem to be more cost-focused. And so they're not looking at it from an investment. They're not looking at it from a what is it saving me. They're not looking at it from what am I gaining with this. Tons and tons and tons of these clients, they are driven by the cost. What is cheaper, right? It doesn't matter if I have to drive an extra 10 miles out to get it and save those $3. I'm going to drive 10 miles away so I can save $3 because they're cost-focused, okay? And this is not a dig. There's tons and tons and tons and tons of research that show this. So if I'm running an ad and I'm basing it on educational background, right, I may market products in a different way, and I may market something that's on sale, right, or my free shipping or this or that towards a different set of people. So it matters, okay? And then your cultural background is going to be totally going to change the way that you're running your ads and your promotions. And I've touched on this before in the past, and I'm going to say this again, and this is not to be offensive. And if you're offended, you just want to be offended because this is the truth. There are some products that are based on culture, okay? There are some products that are based on culture, you guys. It's just the truth. My favorite example to use is co-wash, okay? Any of my Caucasian, my Asian, my Filipino brothers and sisters don't know anything about co-wash, nor do they need co-wash because their hair is different than all of my Afro-Latinas, my African-American, okay, my mixed chicks in the room. we have a different grade of hair than these other people. So there are different products we have to use to take care of our hair, maintain our tresses, get our length and our growth. So if you have a co-wash product, right, or you have whipped shea butter for the hair, it would be really silly of you to be advertising that to everybody in the United States. Why do you want to waste your advertising dollars? Why do you want to waste your marketing dollars sending it over to a group of people, to a bunch of Polynesian people or Asian people or Caucasian people who are not going to be interested in co-wash or whipped shea butter because they don't need it? They don't even know what the heck it is. It's something that they don't need it, right? It's the same thing. And maybe you make menorahs or something like that. Well, why would you be marketing menorahs to a whole bunch of Christian people who celebrate Christmas? It doesn't make sense, right? So, or it's like maybe you're going to celebrate, maybe you have an ad and you're selling, maybe you have a children's toy store and you sell Easter baskets and you put these amazing, beautiful stuffed bunny rabbits inside of the Easter basket. Why in the world would you run that ad to people who don't celebrate Easter? Why would you run it to a bunch of Jehovah's Witnesses or something like that? It's not, they don't participate in the holiday in that fashion, right? So cultural background is not meant to make anybody, uncomfortable. And I know a lot of people want to say, everything, goes to everybody. No, it doesn't, y'all. There are things that are culturally different about us, and it's okay. There are different things that we need, right, to take care of our bodies because some of our physiology is made up different. So for example, do black people sunburn? Yes, black people sunburn. However, it takes a bit longer for us to sunburn than it does for our white friends, right? So our white friends and family, they get sunburned a lot quicker than a lot of black people. So whenever you're marketing, right, those different products, not that black people don't need sunscreen because we do, but if you're running an ad to us talking about protecting from burning and showing somebody with, super red skin that's burnt and peeling, and that ad is not going to have the same effect on me as it's going to have on another white person who they have skin that's similar to the person inside of that ad, and they can relate to the burning and the red and the blistering, right? Now, if you run that same sunscreen ad to a group of black people and you show a brown person and you show them even browner and then you show their skin all cracked up and you show the burnt parts and you show how uncomfortable it is and you say, you point to the sunburn, then all of a sudden they're going to say, hey, I may need to get some sunscreen because they can see themselves in that ad and they can see why they need that. So the actual products that you're promoting and the way that you promote them and the way that you talk about them and the information that you give is based on all of these basic demographics, okay? Yeah, I sunburn too, Mish. I definitely do. But whenever I see a sunburn lotion ad or I see a commercial and I'm just being honest, and it's a whole bunch of white people all over the commercial, it doesn't make me think, oh yeah, I need to go and get some more sunscreen, right? I don't think to myself, yeah, let me go and grab some more sunblock. I need some more of that, even though I know that I'll sunburn because I've burnt before. But I'll be honest, y'all, until I actually got burnt from the sun, I never even used to use sunblock until it happened to me. And I was like, oh, snap. I was like, I need some sunblock, right, when I was a little kid. So anyway, y'all, that's a good bit of information on the demographics. I'm going